Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
So far this week, after the first day, I have not shown you, for example, Raymond has another talk that's too detailed, and you guys are already getting caught in the detail. And so where they take you by the hand, and I'm not showing you those. There's another couple today I'm not going to show you because you're getting lost in the quagmire. Then you'll be a 3-year deal doer instead of a 30-day deal doer. Although the audience is like that because it makes them feel better because Raymond and guys like Raymond take you through down to the definitive. So we're going to have less. I cut one out yesterday. I cut one out the day before. And I'm going to cut 2 out today. Because you just, for whatever reason, every group has a group consensus kind of. You've got your own spirit. And you guys, or not, the group, is not all the group, but a good portion of the group is stuck in the quagmire of the details. And the more details I give you, the more you get stuck. So we're going to talk in generalities and platitudes. And for those of you that don't know what a platitude is, Google fuck it. This general concept, strong and wrong, as opposed to right and weak. You're a right and weak group, not a strong and wrong. You heard me say, don't confuse me with the facts. You saw Steve Jobs, but you still want to know the why instead of the how. And your questions are clearly from that end of the continuum. And after almost 31 years of doing this, I know for a fact that it's going to take you longer to do a deal. Now, one person in the group might, like when you're in school, and I was wearing the dunce cap, and they put me in I walk in the morning, and they say, Danny, assume the position. Now, that wasn't bent over to, like you tell a hooker, assume the position. So I'd go to the corner, and I could put my dunce cap on, and I'd stand in the corner. That's how I started class. And if I got outrageous or I did something that the teacher didn't like, and I told you I'd be in the principal's office 2 times before noon. And if it really got outrageous and the principal couldn't deal with me, they stuck me in a closet. And then a couple times I shit my pants, and I told you about that. Okay? But the class without me, there's always a smart ass in the class, one that raises their hand all the time and knows all the answers. And there's always somebody not as duncy as I was, although I wasn't a dunce, but that didn't know anything and sat in the back of the room and half asleep. Well, this group has kind of divided itself into 3. And so the last day, I'm going to do everything humanly possible, which is a lot, to make sure that when you leave here, that you're on the macro level, not the micro level. This is not a micro model. And for those of you that are engineers, and there's a few, haven't been bragging about it too much, but I mean, this is not a micro model. It just isn't. I show you Raymond and his 822 motherfucking days. But see, you have forgotten the 822 days. You like Raymond because he holds your hand. When you were on a trainer bicycle, a bicycle had little training wheels. When I was growing up, we were so poor we had a possum for a dog. Okay? I mean, trainer wheels, and you like the trainer wheels. And the trainer wheels are 800 days. You don't like that part. You've forgotten that. You've blocked 822 days out. So, yes, sir.
So if Raymond didn't do the micro thing, then
he would have done it in 45 days.
Yeah.
But he would have been flying by. To him, he'd be flying by his pants. You know what that means? He'd be doing it, he'd be asking for forgiveness a lot. He would have been not strong and wrong. He would have been right and weak. You can detail this thing out. We've got guys that have done deals in 4 or 5 years that didn't make any mistakes. Now, I'm going to say this again slowly. We've got guys that have done deals in 4 or 5 years that made no mistakes. I mean, to say you waste your money coming here is an understatement. Those guys and gals should just have sent me the fucking money and not showed up. I don't want that. I don't want to leave you with that idea. You know, don't confuse me with the facts. And remember, and a good portion of Apple's stuff didn't work in the beginning. See, you want the shit to work right away. Well, you can get a deal done and not have the shit work. You don't intellectually believe me. You don't intellectually believe that the Viking bitch doesn't know shit. As she said, I know how to buy shit because she ran a surgical thing. But other than that, she doesn't know anything. You don't want to believe that because you still don't believe, and some of you in this room still don't believe that you don't need any money. I don't know how fucking plain I can make it. So we made a few adjustments for today. Because I don't want you to be the 4 or 5 years. For the guys, you're better off looking for a billionaire girl to marry. You can find a billionairess quicker than that. And we've had a couple that married. We had a guy back in the day who married into the Hewlett-Packard family. The Packards, you know, Hewlett-Packard, the company. And he asked me, I didn't ask if he was in love or any of that shit. I just said, well, marry her. I mean, what are you, fucking crazy? I was in the wedding. I was part of the wedding party. And she was, as I recall, a flight attendant. She was a flight attendant. And so she had flight attendant friends. And so we're going through the receiving line, and he was, at that time, I think he was ambassador to Russia. And he appointed from a long, long time ago. And so as the flight attendants went through the line, you know, they're shaking hands, and then this big, really good-looking blonde flight attendant grabs him by the balls and says, I always wanted to know what $1 billion felt like. Now, Secret Service, everybody's knocking everybody down, panic, you know. I was wearing a white tuxedo. I get knocked down the fucking grassy knoll, not the grassy knoll where they shot Kennedy, and the reception was over. But he stayed married about 14, 15 years. Now we're going to hear Roberto from Colombia next, a few minutes. And as we speak, I believe he's in Colombia today. Now he knew a little more because he rolled up the industry that he was a CEO in. Some of you are going to attempt successfully, touch wood, a roll up where you are now. 1 or 2 of you, your first acquisition, your best acquisition is you. Buying, you know. Most of you just turn the key and walk away. It's not worth it. You can get a job paying you more than you're making now. But a couple of you have a business that you can buy for your first acquisition. Some of you have a business that you can sell to the employees. And that's what Anelli did, and you'll hear him later today. But all of you should not allow yourself, and your default, especially the guys that have quasi-engineering backgrounds, your default is detail. My default, I was never a detail-oriented guy, never. You know, I was slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. From sex on, I didn't need to know anybody's name. And back in the 70s or early 80s when they discovered AIDS, everybody was called honey then. You didn't have to learn the name. Any questions on what you saw last night in your film? Comments? Okay, it's fine. The goals, we're not going to do goals and asks on the camera. So for those of you who look a little tense, so we're not going to, and it's not meant to embarrass anybody, but most of the goals expand as you go through the QLA process, because many of the goals that you set aren't immediately accomplished, but vis-a-vis what you've accomplished in your life up to today, it seems like they're almost immediate, and they come so fast. And some of the guys and the girls over the years, and I told you that we've had a couple of people that actually increased their net worth $50 million a month. So I mean, that's for real. That's not, arguably one of them was in the right place at the right time. Arguably the other person that did that didn't realize how easy it was to accomplish behemoth things in life. If there's no questions, we're going to, goodbye, YouTube.